Welcome to the 2017 Ledgestone Insurance Open presented by Discraft. I am Nate Heinold and I have
Nate Doss here.
We should call it Nate Squared. I know Jeremy Colling and all of them have these names, so we'll just keep it simple. Nate Squared Commentary.
Yeah, I like it.
Today on our card, I believe we have two-time world champion Ricky Wysocki. We have Mr. Ponytail MJ. We have Robert Craig, and we have one more player.
Nikko Locastro.
Nikko Locastro, two-time Ledgestone champion. Hole one, Nate, tell us about it.
Yeah, so here we are, hole one. This is, what a daunting first hole. It's 600 so feet, 633 feet, you can see there. Over water off the tee pad. It's really a turnover off the tee with a left to right crosswind. It's just a very difficult hole. In a press conference earlier this week, Paul McBeth said his goal was to just not be in the water and be in bounds off the tee. So,
and Robert just did that. He is in bounds.
He definitely is in bounds. And you're going to see these players, I think, for the most part, turning over to the right. Nico's taking a pretty aggressive line here.
Very aggressive.
But that wind's helping him. And he barely made it in bounds, which is, that's just scary. I think most of the players you're going to see are going to go over to the right, down the dam, and end up on the side of the dam down there.
You can see MJ, that is his crank. You could see the logo there. That should be good. It's fading back.
Yeah, by looking at it, that's about the perfect shot. You just want to end up down on that side hill. If you can get all the way down to that flat, it's not so bad for the second shot, which at that point is pretty far uphill.
Nate, would you say this is, and Ricky takes a nice little leaf off there, would you say this is one of the hardest opening holes that you guys play on tour?
It's definitely one of the most difficult opening holes that you look at and you say, wow, I want to try to get in bounds. What a way to start. But yeah, I would agree with it being, one of the more difficult starting holes. Absolutely. I don't think there's any question. So basically, it's really hard to tell here, but this is really extremely uphill. Now, this is actually a little bit better view. You can see how far MJ is down there. And he kind of pulled his upshot there to the safe side. Anything that gets up here is going to potentially go up and over that rim and go right into the bushes behind the basket or even over to the water. Ricky with a sharp edge driver puts it right around the circle's edge. That's you're going to see a lot of the players landing right in that area, I would say. This is where Nikko landed is super tough, actually, because you just.
It's a tough lie from there. He's basically standstill.
Well, he made actually a pretty good shot, so that's I'll have to give him some birdie points on that one. I'm sure he's going to tap that one in. Now I'm not familiar with the fourth guy in this group. We played right behind these guys. I think he had an Arizona. What was his name?
His name is Robert Craig. He's from Arizona. He got on this card. He donated some money to St. Jude. I offered up the top two cards for a donation for St. Jude. Good putt there by Robert, and he wanted to play with the big boys.
Awesome.
He's helping St. Jude.
That's great to have. The opportunity to help the help the charity first round. I'm sure he was excited, and these guys, the other three in the group, they're just focused on what they got to do, and I think it was a fun experience. I'm sure.
Hole one played 4.29 yesterday in terms of the average, so slightly over par. That's actually a little bit better than the scores from last year. I think it was less windy today, so I think we'll see maybe some higher scores later in the week.
Yeah.
Nikko with a nice birdie there. Everybody has par.
Super fortunate birdie. He nearly could have had a bogey had he been out of bounds there, but yeah.
Hole two, we actually combined holes 2 and 3 from last year. Same rope from last year, moved the basket off the water a little bit, and I think it turned out to be a really challenging but fair par 4.
Awesome change to the course. I really got to hand it to you on this one. This is a much more difficult hole. Before when it was 2 holes, it's obviously longer, but I really just like the change. There's a very technical aspect to this hole because if you threw a drive that just went straight, you would probably go out in the water. If you overturn it, you can end up OB. You're going to see guys throwing rollers, sidearms.
The roller is a great play if you have that is way down there. See, that he just passed the 250 mark, so he's going to be
That's inside. The best drive I've seen.
Oh, that's an awesome drive. The roller here is it takes some guts. This actually places the fourth. Yesterday, it played as the fourth most difficult hole in the course. Average 4.5. MJ just sneaking below the trees with probably his Comet there.
I could definitely see that difficulty rating. I mean, our group, we were 3 over on the hole. So I went out of bounds. Macbeth went out of bounds, and Mott went out of bounds too. So Ricky's going with the roller,
and that's crushed. He's actually just behind Roberts. That just shows how good of a drive Robert had.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Actually, 44% of the field was bogey or above on this hole yesterday.
Ooh, Nikko. Oh, sit. Yeah, that's the problem that if you're not throwing a roller or a sidearm and you end up short, you end up in a really tough position. There's a gazebo on the corner that you got to miss, and it's just the pin is pretty far back there, and I mean it's only 15 feet from the water. MJ really that's the shot you want to throw. You want to aim for that tree. Pretty makeable putt from there without too much danger. And
this is, I'm sure, Ricky's overstable putter.
Not a great upshot, I would say, from there. I mean,
I would have thought he would have been able to get that one. He may have been a little restricted, but that was his bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean he was on one knee.
That's got to sit down. Oh, Robert actually, I can't tell if that's in the water. They're out of bounds actually about 50 feet behind the basket. He was just short of that, but he may have gone in the water. Nikko this is his third shot.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what you want to do. I mean, if you end up under par on this hole for the tournament, you're doing something good.
That was either a layup by Rick or just the wind really affected that putt.
Oh, I think where both. He was, there was some trees and branches,
yep.
And that's just a tough spot to end up.
Yep.
I know Rick will be disappointed after that drive, but it's needless to say, I think pars are good here. MJ with a good, really
that's
awesome
a great birdie. This is not MJ's course. He is a wooded golf player, and he admits that this isn't his course. But there is some placement shots out here, and he's a wooded golfer at placement shots. I think he could do well on certain holes out here.
I think he's certainly a wooded golfer, a wooded player. He plays in the woods in North Carolina, but the par threes out here are all gettable. So I think he would definitely be in a situation to shoot good rounds out here as long as he could play the longer holes, par or better.
This is actually the second shortest hole in the course, just by about 20 feet. Really tight at the pine trees.
Yeah, definitely. You really. This is one of those just pick your lines and you better hit it, because if you hit any of the trees on the left or right, kicking left, you're probably going to end up out of bounds. There's a cart path or a path to the left. A little walking path to the left, and it's just you got to hit your line. MJ,
playing Plinko.
Yeah, took the famed double kick. You could see he was a little happy about that. But yeah, there's definitely a fair gap right up the middle, but it's not very big.
I'll be curious to see if Ricky throws the sidearm gap here. I actually like the sidearm gap here. It's tight, but it's way up the left. I like it because you won't kick left out of bounds. So Rick loves the sidearm. Be interested to see if he takes it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that. It seems a little. It's a weird angle.
It is.
I would be surprised. Oh, well, we are seeing him throw the sidearm here. Let's see how it turns out.
Right through these kind of two trees to the left is kind of right through there.
Oh, and he hit that first tree.
He hit the first tree. Inbounds. That's the thing, though. If you hit the tree on the sidearm, you're probably not going to go out of bounds. You're going to kick left. So that's why I kind of like the sidearm here. And when you have Rick's sidearm,
nice upshot.
You can get it from anywhere.
What you're seeing on this hole is really, this is the average on this hole. A lot of hitting trees early. If you sneak one through, or if you just throw that perfect shot up the middle, you're going to be right up by the basket.
And speaking of average, this hole played 3.04, so it basically played at par.
Good.
For this first round.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I'm imagining that the average is what we're seeing these guys do. The ones that kick out of bounds are probably evened out with the ones that get the birdies on it. So it's though it's short, it's a hole that you can get, you hope to get, and you're happy when you get it, but par's not bad. As par is should never be a bad thing.
On this course, par is good a lot of times. And you're right, 26% of the field below par, 27% above par. So you just said it.
Oh, wow.
It washed out, so you're about right. So
yeah, that's
there could be a couple
awesome.
fives, though, because you would have an early kick. It's not an easy shot. You'd have to take it out over the out of bounds again. So, and I believe that was a star par for our group.
Lifetime warranty, and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
All right, we got hole 4, 423 feet downhill. Plays more like 350. You either want to throw to the right gap with a hyzer flip, or maybe a turnover in the left gap, or you could be like Nate Sexton last year throwing a forehand roller. So I think we won't see that today, but
this is a strange hole. I mean,
it is.
I really like this hole. It's just so challenging. I'm playing down the middle gap. We'll see what MJ does here. Yeah, this is, and he
Little
just
loose
left
there,
it a
yeah.
little left. Now that's really my.
well, look at, I mean, that got down there. That was actually the reason that got down there, that was a Ledgestone TI Comet. So that disc it's attracted to that basket, so.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of the players. You can see Nikko's actually throwing a putter here. And Steve Brinster throws a putter on this hole as well. It's just as soon as you get over that hill, you're going to get a lot of carry. He's short left. That's the mistake most of the players are going to make. You can see that road there. That's out of bounds.
It's the correct mistake to make in this hole, too. If you miss to the right, it is a bad miss. You want to be hyzering. You do not want to throw an anhyzer.
Oh,
that would have finished left, but that would have been putting from the forest. So
definitely. And then I've made a putt out of the forest on
Sure.
this one in tournament rounds and in practice rounds, and this looks perfect.
That's got to stop
as
turning.
long as
actually.
it comes back.
And that just never.
Oh, what's it gonna do? Oh wow.
I mean, and that's the thing. Any kind of turnover, and it's probably not going to be in bounds unless it catches a tree.
Ricky's probably back on, I'm sure he's heard that he's out of bounds now, but he was probably hoping that was going to be the perfect one.
Jonathan, good dodge there. Jonathan gets out of the way of the roller there.
Yeah. And, honestly, Rick threw a really good shot. And that's why I call this hole strange, because I feel like you might have thrown a perfect shot and you end up out of bounds. And that's always frustrating.
You just really can't turn the disc over at all here. But he's got, this is Rick's 15-foot range here.
And he cans it.
And he rips the mini up.
Yeah, he's not happy. I mean,
he threw a good drive. It's just a little turned over.
He's 4 holes into the tournament, and he's parred all 4 holes. Again, we know that that's not bad, but MJ.
His drive got just past pin high, and his disc was, I think, just a little left short. But you know what? He didn't roll away. That could have easily have rolled away.
You can see it there. I would say, just for perspective, Ricky Wysocki probably very rarely goes 4 holes at any point in any tournament without a birdie. So he's probably feeling some frustration, and I would not be surprised to see a potential birdie here on the next hole.
Speaking of the next hole, this is hole 5. It was stroke and distance out of bounds last year, so we adjusted that to normal OB. OB shots go to the drop zone. The basket's about 15 feet more to the right. And we pushed the green back a little bit. This is, I would say, one of our iconic holes, just very well known as the softball diamond hole, baseball diamond hole, and as the Greg Barsby ace hole now, which is very impressive.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Greg Barsby aced this hole in this round that we're watching here, probably about 5 or 6 groups after these guys. We were just across the way, heard it go in, and it was certainly a celebration.
MJ throwing his crank there, and that's awesome.
That's perfect. And a little bit of wind perspective here. We're playing a right to left tailwind, playing really perfect for this shot. Put it up there, big hyzer. It's probably going to, pull you right over to the basket. Nikko looked like he just smoothed that one out there.
I mean,
for a park job.
These guys, those 2 first shots make this hole look so easy. This is probably normally the hardest hole on the course. And yesterday it played about, a third of a stroke over par. But these guys are just, Ricky's all over the basket there somewhere.
Yeah, he is in bounds there. It was hard to see. It kind of spiked and went right into the grass. I think we're seeing this, the variance. The high level pro players. Wow, he came back in bounds. That's awesome. The high level pro players are throwing big hyzers here. Yep. And Craig here, or was it
Robert Craig?
Robert, yeah. Robert. He had to throw a bit of a turnover, and he was safe, but he was over there on the far right.
He was living dangerously with my ropes there, son. Just short on that putt and a little bit of a roll away.
Yeah, you'll see Robert get a little frustrated in this round. I think, he has his own goals, and there's that Ricky birdie I was talking about.
How'd you know that was going to happen?
Well, it's not surprising. It's all about odds here. The best players in the world don't go 4 or 5 holes without a birdie, really, at any point in time.
The first 6 holes in this course are, every hole's important, but the first 6 holes, you could lose your round in the first 6 holes. You could easily. This hole, if you go out of bounds, you go to the drop zone, you could easily double bogey or worse. The first 6 holes are very challenging.
Definitely.
And Robert, that was for bogey, so he's going to take a 5. Unfortunate there.
Yeah, and like I said, you can see his frustration. Yes, it's tough.
It's tough when you're playing with 3 of the best players in the world too. It's probably a little intimidating, but you know what? He bought into it.
He paid for it.
He paid for it. We just saw 3 birdies there. I can't say that there were many other cards where you're going to see 3 2s on that hole.
No.
Hole 6. Wow, Nate. Hole 6. This actually was the number 1 handicap hole. Played to 4.93. Very challenging hole.
Yeah, basically it would take an absolute perfect situation for me to birdie this hole. You look at it, 900 feet. Nearly 900 feet.
With ropes.
With ropes, of course, but it is 900 feet, but you'll see these players. They're going to be playing nice, safe hyzers here, never really putting it anywhere near in danger. Because the thing about it is you just don't want to go out of bounds. And I'm playing this for a par.
Yeah, and that's smart. I think that Ricky, I think you can take a more aggressive liner because the fairway is really wide. If you miss the fairway, I think you can be a little aggressive on this drive. So the second shot is where you have to make a decision on, am I going to throw it 300 or am I going to try to throw it 450? Yeah, Ricky didn't really hold back there at all.
Yeah, but he threw that hyzer line along the line. He never really put it out.
Yeah.
If anything, he was going to go out of bounds to the left.
And that orange stake there is the 500-foot stake to the basket, so he's a ways away still. And see, Robert that's a very aggressive line. That's
get down.
Too aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert,
And this is a really tough shot to keep in bounds when you're that far back.
Especially it's a right to left wind as well. You can see the wind just picking that up. Get down.
It did.
Yeah, nice.
The grass is really grabby here, and so keeps the disc down.
Absolutely. You're going to see MJ probably with a nice little control shot.
Looks like a predator there, probably.
Yeah, right into the middle. That's the exact disc I'm throwing and trying to get to that.
Yep.
That birdhouse that he just got there too. And it's just if you're sitting at home right now and you're going to be watching this tournament, you're going to be watching all 4 rounds, I would be surprised to see more than a few birdies on this hole. I was surprised, and Rick is going for it here.
He's smashing.
Now, I don't want to give anything away, but he gets lucky right here. And hopefully the camera catches it.
Oh,
which it did.
My goodness. That was out of bounds, backspun back in bounds.
Inside this circle 2.
World champ love there.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. We were over on the basket. We played right behind these guys, so
that's gotta sit.
OB.
That is OB.
Yeah, so hey, you need a little bit of luck there, but
yeah. This is honestly probably a par 4.5. It's a really challenging hole, and it's okay to have hard holes sometimes.
Yeah, I don't believe in 4.5s. I think this is a par 4, and I think the par is whatever it says it is. Either this is a really difficult par 4
or a soft par 5.
Or a soft par 5. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I just think, you got to have to make a decision. Wow.
Ricky, just a little high left there. I thought he was going to make that.
Yeah. You would, we call that Raptorville. He usually makes those ones.
And Nikko, his second shot, he just shorted it a little. I think he just didn't want to go out of bounds and just left himself a 45-footer. Ooh, Robert, just a little right there, it looks like maybe.
Yeah, and this is actually MJ for bogey that we didn't see his par putt. So he ended up getting the 5 there. And that's why we're seeing it's the most difficult hole, because you didn't see the players really being super aggressive, except for Ricky, who got a little bit of lucky. But then you saw Robert there with really what can happen to a lot of players.
Yeah, and you know what? He's just got to stay in there, as I said. Don't get frustrated. You're through the hard stretch now, at least for a while. Get a couple birdies, get it back.
Mm-hmm.
That was you, right?
Yeah.
You can't say enough about Discraft sponsoring this event. They are just awesome. They took this tournament from a small A tier to the biggest tournament in the country. So thanks to Discraft. Hole 7, the second easiest hole in the course. You don't want to miss this hole.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not the easiest. I'm imagining that's probably hole 11 or something, but
correct.
Yeah, we should probably see 3 birdies on this hole from these guys.
Ricky, stay off that tree. That is parked.
Parked. Yep.
I like the sidearm there, but the putter hides your flip up the middle. The problem with the backhand is if you hit a tree, you're probably going to go in the water. Mm-hmm. So I do like Ricky's. MJ got very fortunate not to kick left there.
Seemed like he might have been thinking about the wind a little bit too much. I say you just rip this one low. It's very thin grass down there. And just let the disc do the work on the ground.
Yep.
Nikko threw a fine shot there.
57% of the field actually birdied this hole. So it is, when I designed this course, I wanted a couple holes like this to give the players a, hey, I can birdie a hole. And this is one of those holes. And the problem is if you don't get it, then you're kicking yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and really, every hole is birdieable.
Yep. Really,
all 18 of them are. Of course, some of them are a little bit more difficult than others, but this is one that...
And that's a 7 and a 2 back-to-back. That's a good comeback for Robert.
Absolutely. Good for Robert. Give him a little smile on his face. Get a fist pump from the other guys. It's good stuff. Here's Nikko for his birdie. And I think everything else is pretty much, at this point... automatic for all these guys, and I think this is one of those quick reprieves. You played
a breath of
the
fresh
most
air.
difficult hole in the course, and the next hole is probably right up there in difficulty. Got to be in the top 4 or 5 on hole 8 that we're coming up to.
And there is something to say about having a really hard hole and then maybe backing it off. It gives you a chance to get one back. And yes, hole 8. It actually played as the 5th most difficult hole, played 4.5 strokes, so very challenging hole. Get the disc out of the chute is the first thing.
Yeah.
Get it in the fairway. 793
feet, you're thinking, wow, well, that should be pretty gettable by most of the field, but look at this basket location. If you actually see where that guy's sitting, he's about 12 feet from the basket, and his feet are in the water on a real steep slope.
I mean, this is, if you can believe it, there were actually 5 birdies on this hole yesterday. And so that's a great drive by Ricky. He is actually in a position to throw a sidearm to the basket and potentially have a putt a birdie.
Yeah, by looking at that, I'm wondering if Ricky is one of those birdies. We'll find out here in a second. I actually saw this drive. Went left. Now, he ended up in bounds. He wasn't too happy about that drive, but he was inbound.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, he got a little bit lucky there. Robert
It's got a flip.
Oh yeah, he actually threw a really
yeah.
nice flip shot.
That's really nice.
This wind was pretty strong from right to left.
Probably helping though. I think you don't want a left to right winder. I think you kind of want, because then you can throw something maybe on a little turn and let it fade back, just like that. MJ's throwing his Z crank, and that is cranked.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is. I mean, that is. He's probably only 330 from the basket, 340 from the basket.
And I would guess he's not going for it.
No.
Just
Nico actually was able to throw. I mean, he was able to take a run up there, and he actually
went in the water.
He was. I'm not sure if he was going for that, but that is not the best shot from. I mean, you really can't. I mean, he was 500 feet from the basket there. Robert is. He's kind of going for this here.
Yeah.
That was a good shot.
It was. I mean, anything in bounds on the second shot here is a good shot. Here's Ricky definitely going for it with the sidearm.
But that's the best angle to have.
Oh, if you got a big sidearm, it's perfect.
And he's going to have maybe a straddle putt there.
I doubt it.
See,
Yeah,
it's really tight in there, though.
It would be lucky. See this stump here, just at the bottom of the screen coming in right there? That's the aiming point for, I would say, 80% of the field's second shot. That's my aiming point.
And that was a big tree last year that was dead, and we took it down, and it made the hole actually a little better to be able to be a little more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Ricky, if that tree's there, maybe you don't take that shot. But most 60% of the field actually for this hole, so it's probably going to be a par, but it's a risk-reward hole with a lot of risk.
Yeah. After hearing those stats that you just said, I'm really feeling much more confident with my gameplay.
Ricky probably had nothing there. You saw how soft he putted that. If he misses that putt long, he probably goes in the water too.
Definitely. You can see Nico's frustrated.
If you look where
taking a 6,
Ricky's standing here, there's actually room to the right behind of the basket. Not that players are going to be that aggressive, but there's more room right and long than short. So, for some perspective, if you want to be aggressive, the miss is a little bit long, not short. Nico taking some time to reflect there. Nico's a great player, though. As I said, he's won this tournament twice. He's always supported Peoria.
That fire that he has is one of the reasons he wins so many tournaments. He just he's always in it to win it.
Hole 9 is just one of the most iconic holes. We call it the bridge hole. It actually surprisingly played only 3.01 yesterday. It played as one of the most difficult holes. It played as the 4th easiest hole yesterday, which is very surprising.
I am a little bit surprised about that. Now, I did play this hole. We're playing it. It's the wind.
Yes, correct.
Was not a factor here for some reason. I just didn't really feel like the wind was a big deal. And all 4 of our guys in our group got it in. We'll see how these guys do.
And that's
inside the circle.
That's where you want to be. You don't want to challenge the right side. There's a lot more room to the left. If it's windy, this hole plays at least a half stroke harder.
Oh, God, at least. I would say even maybe a stroke. Wow, he went through the bridge.
Get in.
And not in bounds.
He would have been short without the wall there, though, but that could have damaged his disc. So he'll go to the drop zone throwing 3.
And the drop zone's just at the other end of the path on this bridge.
MJ throwing, I'm not sure what he was throwing there. That was great drive, though.
Mm-hmm.
This hole is, we moved the green up about 7 feet from last year, so there is a little bit more room to land short this year. The sign's not there. The sign's off the green, so you can, that actually is a really aggressive line if it has enough hyzer.
That's perfect.
And that is awesome.
Yeah. You know, this hole has actually changed. Oh, here we go.
FollowFlight, here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, going that way is obviously the way to park it, but that was awesome. But Nico likes throwing that overstable flex shot. That's his shot. This shot here is about 250 from the drop zone, but as I said, very calm conditions. Robert, that's got to sit, and okay, he's okay.
At this point, it would be last place in bounds, correct?
Yep. So from the drop zone, if you do cross, you would get to play from across.
From where his last in bounds. So even if he had gone long, he would have been right there on the edge of the sign. Ricky
going upstairs. He's in.
Yep. Ricky's on a good flow. He's 3 down through 9 holes. He's probably a little bit frustrated, but at the end of the day, he has no bogeys, 3 birdies. He's happy.
That's a good putt from Robert, then.
Yeah. Robert should be enjoying this time with the guys.
This green's big. There's a lot of room there if you want to bail out left. But all 4 of these players were going right at the basket. MJ trying to go out the back door,
Yeah.
just has this ringer just kind of stay in the basket, and
it was left side there.
Nikko just straight up park job.
Yep. And I just want to let everybody out there in the world know that we're actually coming off a 30-minute weather delay right before these guys played this hole. So
3 birdies and a bogey there.
probably about average. That was the front 9. That was great. We really saw difficult. We saw double bogeys. We saw birdies.
The front 6 especially are so challenging. These players, as I said, Ricky, Nikko, and MJ stayed out of big trouble. But there is big trouble out here. So thanks for watching the front 9
of the 2017 Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Discraft. Please check it out. We got the back 9 coming up here. These guys got some really difficult holes coming up.